A very good o'clock, dear students. Here I am Nikita ma'am, your geography teacher. Students, today we are going to start our next chapter that is related to industry itself, but it is mineral based industry, the second part of this chapter. Okay. So, in this chapter, we are going to study some important industries that are not based on agro products. Okay, basically, mineral based industries are those industries, as we studied in the classification, whose source of raw material is any mineral. Okay, they are related to mining sector, which use minerals as their basic raw material. Okay, so these industries form the economic backbone of the country, as these are based on minerals, iron and steel, and these are heavy industries, right? So, iron and steel, heavy engineering, and electronics are the major mineral based industries in India, which form the base of any infrastructure or other industries as well. Okay, that's why these are known as backbone of the country. So, talking about iron and steel, it is basic industry and it lays the foundation of other industries because the production and consumption of iron and steel is one of the most measures of the level of industrialization and economic growth of a country. If we want to measure the economic growth of a country, we already studied that we should measure the industrialization, the level of industrialization of that country. Okay, so the consumption of iron and steel symbolizes the level of industrialization, and in turn the industrialization symbolizes the growth of the country. Okay, so most of the other industries such as automobile, locomotive, rail track, shipment, machine building, bridges, dams, infrastructure, construction, all are dependent upon iron and steel for their raw material. Okay, and the most important feature of this industry is that most of the units are public sector units because it requires a large investment and has long gestation period, that is construction period, and also needs research and development facilities which can be provided by only government agencies, right? So the important steel plant is of the government is the Steel Authority of India Limited (SAIL), which was established in 1974. It's a government undertaking and responsible for management of steel plants at Bhilai, Durgapur, Rourkela, Bokaro, Bandipur. Basically, it is an authority which sees the management and working of different iron and steel plants in India, which was established under government 5-year plannings. Okay, so these steel plants, the management of Indian and iron steel was taken over by government on 14th July 1976, and SAIL also took over Maharashtra Electrosmelt Limited, a mini steel plant, and Vishveshwaraya Iron and Steel Limited in 1986 and 1989 respectively. Okay, many of the steel plants were initially set up as private entities, but later on they were undertaken by the government under its management. Okay, now what are the locational factors of iron and steel industry? Basically, iron and steel is a heavy industry. It uses heavy raw material, so most of them are located near the source of raw material. Okay, where the iron ore and coal is produced mainly, because iron ore is its basic raw material and the coal is needed for smelting. Okay, and its location is controlled primarily by availability of raw material. So most of the iron steel plant are located in India in Chhota Nagpur plateau, because that is a major producer of iron ore as well as coal in India. Okay, Bhadravati, however, that is Vishveshwaraya Iron and Steel Plant, is an exception which is located very far from the source of iron ore because of its location. Okay, but it uses hydroelectricity from the Saravati Power Project. It's located on the banks of Bhadravati River. Okay. Now, second locational factor is market. It's another factor influencing its location. Steel products of an integrated steel plant are quite bulky. Okay, and it has an estimated transport cost per ton kilometer of steel product is about 3 times more than that of a local coal or iron ore. Okay, because these are very bulky, so the cost of transportation is very high, and thus following the theory of minimum transportation cost, many centers of iron and steel production are located near the market. Okay, centers of production, there are at present 10 primary integrated plants, a large number of decentralized secondary unit. Integrated plants are those which are combinedly operating two or three plants. Okay, and there are some mini steel plants, these are secondary units, several rolling and re-rolling mills and foundries which manufacture different items of steel using pig iron and ingot steel, and these are 10,000 foundries. Okay, Most of them are concentrated in western states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, southern states of Tamil Nadu. Okay, now let us talk about some large integrated iron and steel plants of the country. Okay, so iron and steel is the mother of all industry as it forms the backbone of industrial development. It provides raw material as we studied. This is the importance of industry. It is one of the richest reserves. India has one of the richest reserves of all the material, raw material which is required for this industry. That is capital, cheap labor, iron ore, power and coal. Okay, all the raw materials are available in abundant. It is the fifth largest crude steel producing country in the world. Okay, India is fifth largest crude steel producing country, that is raw steel. And the main raw material required for iron and steel is iron ore, then manganese, limestone, silica, chromate, feldspar, scrap iron, flux and fuel. All this is needed. To make steel, impurities in iron ore like sulfur, silica, phosphorus, lime, etc. need to be removed. Okay, when we want to make steel out of iron, then many impurities including sulfur, silica, phosphorus and lime are to be removed. Okay, and this is done through the process of smelting. What is this process? During the iron making process, a blast furnace, okay, furnace means chimney, okay, which is operating on coal, is fed with iron ore, coke and small quantities of fluxes such as limestone. So some things are mixed together in which include iron ore, then coke, that is a kind of coal, and small quantity of fluxes is mixed. Then this slag floats on a molten iron and it collects at the base of furnace at regular interval. What happens now? The slag, that is the impurities, float on the molten iron. Okay, iron melts and the impurities come on the top floating. It is collected at the base of the furnace, that is iron is collected at the base, okay, at regular intervals, and the product which is coming at the base of the furnace is known as pig iron, which can be converted into wrought iron as well as steel and cast iron. Okay, these are some types of iron. What is pig iron? Pig iron is basically raw iron. Okay, it comes out in the form of a pipe, cylindrical pipe, okay, and it's cut into small pieces. That's why known as pig iron. And through deoxidation, the impurities are removed to convert pig iron into steel, and then it is deoxidized, okay, to convert it into steel. This is the process. Now the steel is cast into ingots and rolled into different sizes. Okay, the steel is then converted into rolls. Okay, cut it into rolls of different sizes. Now let us talk about some integrated steel plant. First is Tata Iron and Steel Company. Okay, it was the first organized and largest steel plant, modern steel plant established in India. It is situated at Jamshedpur as the oldest steel plant in the country, and it was established by Jamshedji Tata in 1907 and the production started in 1911. Basically, he established this plant in a place called Sakchi in Bihar, which is now in Jharkhand. Okay, so basically the name of the place was earlier Sakchi, but it was changed on the name of Jamshedji Tata as Jamshedpur later on. Okay, and the plant obtains its raw material from the following places. What are the advantages that the plant has of its location? First, it is located near the iron ore mines, which is from Guru Mahesani mines in Mayurbhanj in Odisha and Nawa Mundi mines in Singhbhum district of Jharkhand. Okay, Singhbhum, which is a major producer of iron ore. All these are locational advantages. Then manganese is from Joda in Keonjhar district, limestone, dolomite, fire clay. These come from Sundargarh district of Odisha, and coal from Jharia and Bokaro coal fields. Okay, coal comes from Jharia and Bokaro coal fields, which are very rich coal fields. Then Kharkai and Subarnarekha are two perennial rivers, so there is no lacking of water supply. Also, continuous water supply is available. Then labor is employed from the states of Bihar, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh. Cheap labor is available as there is abundant of population. It has good accessibility to market in Kolkata. Okay, it is located near to Kolkata, which is also a port city. So it has export facilities of finished goods. Jamshedpur has a good network of roads and railways connected to other parts of the country. It produces high-grade carbon steel, acid steel and special alloy steel. It is used in structural fittings and tin plates, and acid steel is used for making railway wheels, axles, bars, rods, sheets, etc. Okay, so it produces a lot amount of steel and iron products. Now comes the Bhilai Iron and Steel. Bhilai is a government entity. Okay, its steel plant was established in 1953 under the second five-year plan of India. So, in its collaboration with the erstwhile USSR, Bhilai was established with a collaboration of USSR. Okay, that is Russia, मतलब former Russia. Okay, it is located in Durg district of Chhattisgarh. This is located in Durg, and plant obtained its raw material from, that is iron ore from Delhi Rajhara mines of Chhattisgarh, limestone and from the Nandini near Bhilai, Nandini basin near Bhilai. Then manganese obtained from neighboring district of Balaghat, and coal obtained from Bokaro, Kargati and Jharia. Okay. Now about the main source of power is from thermal station at Korba. Korba is a big thermal station having a capacity of 500 megawatt electricity production that provides source of power to Bhilai plant. Water is supplied by the plant on the system of reservoirs at Tendula. Okay, there is a reservoir. A large number of laborers are employed from the nearby states. Bhilai plant produces heavy rail structural beams. Billet rolled wire means it produces products mainly for rail and shipbuilding industry. Okay, plant also produces byproducts like ammonia sulfate, benzol, coal tar and sulfate acid. Okay, it also produces some byproducts. Now about Rourkela steel plant, it is also a government established plant in 1959 with a technical collaboration from German firm Krups and DMAG. Okay, so it was established by German collaboration. Now as you can notice that the plants are being established with collaboration from other partners also, because these require a huge investment, technical expertise and also a lot of time and finance. Okay, that's why they need some or the other kind of partnership in establishment of these plant. So it is located in Sundargarh district of Odisha. Basically, Rourkela is located in Sundargarh in Odisha. This plant obtained raw material from places like coal, iron ore from Sundargarh and Keonjhar, manganese from Barajmada, and limestone from Bhir Mitrapur. Dolomite from Baradwar, coal is obtained from Jharia, electricity supplied from Hirakund project, an important point. Okay. Then water is obtained from the Mandira dam across the Sankha river and Mahanadi river, located across the Mahanadi river. Good transportation of the Kolkata-Nagpur rail line provide easy access to the raw material. Then laborers are employed from the nearby states, and it produces products like hot rolled sheets, cold rolled sheets, galvanized sheets, etc. Now mini steel plant. What are mini steel plants? These are smaller units that work through electric furnaces and mainly use steel scrap and sponge and iron or pig iron as their raw material. So basically these steel plants do not use proper iron ore as their raw material. Okay, these work on electrical furnaces. Okay, these don't have many big furnaces which operate by coal, that is fossil fuels. These are operating on electricity. Okay, and these basically use the steel scrap, the waste material, okay, and the sponge iron and the pig iron as their raw material. These are distributed throughout the country. They are not concentrated in any part of the country. They are basically established for fulfilling the local demands of iron and steel. Okay, local and small demands. What are the advantages? These use raw material which is cheap and easily accessible, hence the price of the produced goods is also less, and produced goods is also less, and these plants can be built with less capital investment because these are mini steel plants. Then it does not cause any pollution since it run on electric power. There's no pollution. These plants cater the needs of local market, as I told you, and reduce the burden from the large steel plant, and their construction and gestation period is short, means they can be set up in a short period. Lastly, what are the problems of iron and steel industry in India? It is a capital intensive industry, means it requires a large amount of capital to set up a single plant. Okay, the industry lags behind in using advanced technological inputs. Okay, it is this problem is very common to India, that many steel plants have very old and vanished out machinery which is not no more in use. So high grade coking coal used for smelting iron ore is limited. The high grade coking coal which is needed for smelting of iron is very limited in the country. Many small iron and steel plants have closed down due to inadequate supply of power and increasing cost of raw material. Okay, Then the government has controlled and fixed the prices of iron steel, which leaves a marginal profit. The profit is controlled by the government, the prices are controlled, and hence the profit is not determined by the producer. It leaves very less profit. Inefficient management, improper functioning of the iron steel plants in the public sector. In the public sector, it is very inefficient management of iron and steel plant, and the demand of steel and iron is increasing, which result in import of large quantity of iron and steel. These were some problems. So that's all about iron and steel. We'll continue with petrochemicals and electric industry in the next video. Till then, thank you.